especially being on winner side, man, like you shouldn't have any fear about like if you're warm or not, in my opinion, because there are so many times where you'll see like even the best players. MKLeo in Evo Grand Finals in 2019, he was on loser side even, and while he was pretty warm, it was a time where it was just a very stressful like comeback from all the way in loses where he lost in, and you see him, he loses 2 games in a row. And if you lose all 3 games that quickly, you're done. You lose Evo, the biggest fighting game tournament of the time for these players, and he ends up winning barely in that like 3rd match they play.
Yeah.
And after that, he just had the motivation and was warmed up enough to where he was kind of able to just slowly secure each game a bit better. And by the time the next set rolled around, there was just nothing you could say about it. It was just over due to the amount of adaptation and like warm-up time he'd allowed him to give himself. And it's just like, if you're able to get those matches, and at least even if you aren't winning them, make them draw out for as long as you can, you might be able to either run the other person's steam a bit, as well as just warm yourself up enough. And we'll see where they go for stages. We'll see what types of movement they're doing, and I'm very excited to see the final match in this tournament. And if you've been somebody or know people who've been following this that might not be in stream, definitely share the stream to these people. This is going to be a finisher for the ages.
No, super duper agree on that, Cherry. I'm super excited specifically because BW Styles has been on fire tonight, and I'd love to see, him cap off a really great start with a victory tonight. Nonetheless, I mean, Llomomo has definitely been someone who has definitely conquered some obstacles over the course of his time here in IDM and has pulled out a W beforehand. But BW Styles has been a little bit of a bridesmaid and never the bride in a lot of ways. We've watched him get hot a couple of nights, and eventually I think the wheels will come off on a particular thing, and maybe some fatigue might be setting in. But this might be the night for him to really kind of go all the way with it in the very real sense. They're working on stage strikes now, and it looks like they're going to go to TNC. Town and City is coming up. And,
interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say interesting choice for both of them. BW Styles, obviously, I can't remember if the last one he took was at Town and Country or not. But all these 2 platform places have been places that I predicted that BW Styles was going to go for. These 2 platform spaces have really been able to allow him to maximize his ledge guarding, especially with that spike and keeping people guessing on what they're going to do. I mean, King Dedede is ripe for it. He's someone who goes low to use his recovery to try to go up high. And we'll see how these guys use these with the start of Grand Finals.
Yeah, now I think that this is definitely a good pick for both of these characters. And I'd say that mostly because, like you've seen literally all night from BW, he's had such a great time of movement and just kind of these guessing games. And the same can be said for Llomomo. We saw him using these full hops to their best for both the Gordo plays that we just saw him kind of thrown up, as well as those back and forward airs. But I think the opposite can be said that you could say about Incineroar is that these backers and forward airs, they are laggy. And BW is somebody that no fool, no noob when it comes to edge guarding, coming to punish people in the air. And look at this very quick movement coming out from both of these players. BW even getting the walking tilts in with the lemon gun, and he's also not falling for any of the shenanigans with like being hasty or to get back to ledge because of that dash tech. And they're both these players. They're playing very well, but that was spooky. I think that as long as BW continues to seem like look at that. Like I was just about to say, like as long as he is not trying to overextend or force any sort of kill confirm and just get the amount of damage he needs to confirm a kill with like a back air or something, he is going to be on fire still. And as soon as I was thinking the words before I could get them out, he had shown me exactly what I wanted to say. And I don't even think that stocks necessarily matter in this matchup, because there's a lot, like even if at any point BW or Llomomo starts to fall behind, they just need to start thinking a bit more about what their opponent's doing. Like both their I think both these players are players where they don't need to think too much about their strategies. They have just played so much Smash now that as long as their game plans aren't like, as long as they're not in a losing matchup too hard, they will be able to basically autopilot their way through most of their game plan. But once they're like losing or have a very commanding lead, they need to figure out and ask themselves, what do I need to do or continue to do to win this stock? And what do I need to do to come back to win this stock or win the next stock? And I think in this situation, BW is probably asking, what do I need to do to get like the final blow for this stock? Because we're seeing him finally get Llomomo to a similar stock percentage that he did last stock. And I think just a couple more percent here or there. And he'll start looking for a true combo finisher. That was very scary. Air dodging onto ledge, and we're seeing Llomomo does not have an option that can reach all the way up to the back of that platform. Whereas you do see BW, once he realizes that, he kind of just hung around for just a split second on Llomomo's shield, seeing Llomomo just try to do a full hop and punishing his shield with back air due to it being a very strong, close multi-hit option and a very strong kill move. And then Llomomo did fire right back with his own kill move and kept this pretty even in stocks. Like, obviously it's 1-1, but at the end of the day, we are kind of seeing a race to the finish here. It's been like a pretty long, almost 4 minutes match. But the thing is that we've also been seeing just players go really hard into their damaging combos, their damaging like chip damage moves with Gordo, as well as these fares that we're seeing from each other. And I think that what's kind of happening is like, who's going to take the last stock? Like, who's going to make the mess up? And I think, oh gosh, I was just going to say, oh my gosh. I was just going to say, if BW makes any mistake, we're going to see a Luxury situation where he's doing fine until the very end, and this might be it. This is a very do or die situation. Woo! Yeah, and I think at the end with BW got just a very teeny weeny bit like impatient, because what you'll see here, he almost lost the game due to that up B from Llomomo. Llomomo up B'd very early onto stage, to the point where he missed ledge all entirely. Yeah. And once he hit the ground, I actually thought it was over just because BW threw out, I think, Saw or Leaf Blade. And it was just right here. I thought it would have armored through the Saw. But then afterwards, Llomomo was aware of the fact that he wouldn't die from shield of the Saw. Just crouched, did down tilt, because sure, you could go for like up smash or like forward air, but down tilt has such a shallow launch angle, like horizontally, that you really don't have a good DI angle to DI to stop yourself, because you're going pretty much just straight. You can't really DI too far this way, because there isn't an angle that you can do on your stick that will make you go that low. And then you can't go up, because you'll pretty much just be making yourselves go straighter. And it's not going to help you. It's just going to make you die quicker. So we're seeing a switch to small battlefield as Llomomo is banning both Battlefield and PS2. And I think that BW is kind of banking on these platforms in a shorter like point to kind of give himself that aggressive stance that he wants. Because it seemed like whenever he did kind of get in Dedede's face, there was not much Llomomo could do. He did not. I think that BW also just does not want to deal with these Gordo setups, and it's something that Llomomo has been doing really well and kind of forcing intimidation onto BW, is that, and he did this with Llomomo too. Like, we saw there were multiple instances where both these players just were very unsure of what to do from ledge, and we saw both of them try to drop from ledge, and then the hammer would come out, or a forward smash, or a dash attack. And most of the time, the best situation is to pretty much just jump over it, and then use your second jump to like wait out whatever they're doing. Especially if, like, let's say Llomomo's doing that down smash at ledge or the forward smash. Oh, and he jumped up into it. That's so unfortunate. But unfortunately, like in these situations now, as soon as he mixes up what's going on, you're seeing Llomomo kind of abuse these platforms in a way that is very different than you can on Town or PS2 because of how short they are. And so when BW lands, Dedede can just go for a short hop up air, or like an up tilt below the platform, and it'll still hit you up there. It's not like a safe option. Unlike where PS2 might be, just because the platforms are a bit higher, where the up tilt won't like hit through platform. and we're kind of seeing Llomomo run away through with this game.
Yeah.
So,
Now remember, the set score earlier in winners finals was 3-1 for BW Styles. So Llomomo already doing, what looks like is going to be better than that. In addition to that, I think he also wasn't playing. I think in those rounds he played the Bowser and what was the other heavy he played?
DK, yeah. And I think that I don't think we'll be seeing DK. I genuinely think that the one thing that's kind of separating this from DK is that despite they both being fairly weak characters up in the air, I think that Dedede having any sort of projectile as well as like certain disjoints and longer attacks with his hammer just gives him such an edge over Mega Man, because at least then he doesn't have to play in his space entirely like DK or Bowser does. And yeah, I think Bowser may have done a bit better over time if he had a couple more games with him or start off with him, but even then I think BW just knows the matchup better. Whereas it seems like with Dedede, even with all this time, like it just seems like Llomomo has a bit better time playing against this Mega Man than we would have thought maybe. And I think it's okay though. BW still has another set if he needs it to kind of try and make a comeback. And who's to say that we may not see that comeback start in the end of this set. So we'll have to see, because I think Llomomo is kind of playing very well in this second game and kind of abusing this small battlefield comfort pick maybe to his advantage, as well as using that reflector on the inhale. Oh gosh, that move is super like intimidating, because from my own experience playing Thugnificent, who is a partner of mine I practice with. Yep.
No.
Yeah, that's so intimidating, and it does cover both like ledge and get up roll. And even if you do a gap attack, you're not going to hit him. And it has like some sort of armor if you release at the right time. And so he also can kind of cover jump by like just jumping and throwing out, but it's a bit laggier. So it's just super scary. Like it forces you to be like impatient in a way, because you just have no clue what's going to happen. And here he just was able to turn around it fully. And by the time he did, he was just like, okay, like I got it. So I think we'll see some adjustments come out for BW. I'm just not sure what stages he'll want to go, because it seems like his comfort picks weren't working out for him.
No, I'd have to agree with you. So, looks like we got a ban on Battlefield in PS2 from Llomomo.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like BW Styles is saying let's stay at small battlefield. And we got a total change up here. I gotta try to update this scoreboard without being shocked over it.
I'm surprised, man. I don't know. I've
never seen BW Styles play this character. Matter of fact, I don't think I've ever seen him not play Mega Man in any real scenario.
There has been a couple matches here or there I've seen him pull out the Terry. I've never seen him pull it out against Llomomo, I don't think. But I think that it's a fine switch. Test it out this set. Do not test it out in the next set. And let's say it works. Like, let's say... Because this is a character where he doesn't need to worry about throwing out projectiles with. Like, the projectile helps reflect the Gordo, but it's also very non-committal. You could throw it out in the air, like that. You could throw it out on the ground from afar. You can make it slower. You can make it faster by hard or light pressing the B button. It's very, very useful. And then he also has that go.
He's got power Geyser.
Yeah, such a great move for ledge guarding. Covers get up jump and get up roll, as well as Are You Okay? And... that's the jab power
from just kind of jumping up and down.
Yeah, but I also don't like personally like some of the stuff that BW I've seen with his Terry. It just isn't as polished as his Mega Man.
Right.
And it's kind of more read based. And what the heck just happened there?
Yeah. I don't know how he negated that.
Because I saw the giant red sparks and I was like, he's dead, right? And then he just kept getting hit.
Man,
so I was like,
yeah.
I don't know. For all you viewers at home, we don't know. But he's got him at 180. Whatever happened, I guess kind of just happened, and did not get the kill there. Trying to go for that power dunk, but now it's kind of getting extra credit. Llomomo is, and I'm just not sure he is going for these full hops again at ledge. doesn't necessarily mind playing a bit more slow, a bit more passive to keep racking on this damage as Llomomo. And I think that's something that BW has kind of forgotten about his sets with Llomomo earlier, as well as just against Luxray and others, is that when he was ahead, or even when he was just playing same stock at a tied rate, he was very much staying at that mid range level. And whenever he did approach, it was because he had like a grab in mind, or he had an aerial in mind. And then after that second game, after this first game, they had, I guess the second game they had was that he kind of was BW was approaching a lot more in very risky ways. And then whenever he tried to stay away, he'd be trying to make up damage with like an F smash or something. And the reads were just not there because for one, Dedede could either reflect it or he could just go around it very easily multiple times. And now we're kind of seeing a similar issue where he's approaching so much with Terry that he's not still giving Dedede time to approach himself. And it's really hurting BW. So I hope that if this match continues to go the way it is, I kind of hope he switches back to Mega Man if this experiment doesn't work out. But if he does at least get it close, we could see another game in this set if he's able to pull it off and take a win. But it's hard. Ooh, go for that double down tilt. That's finally the up smash takes it, I believe.
And by the looks of the percent here, it doesn't really tell the story of the match. This isn't too far away.
Yeah, and I think that this is that's so true. And Terry just has a crazy damage output. He has so many good moves, and I honestly feel like that BW kind of just needs to use the side B or the neutral B more like his Saw. Obviously he can't catch to the burn, but or the fireball or whatever it is, but he at least can use it to reflect Gordos. He doesn't need to jump over Gordo. And I think that's something that he's kind of forgetting about. You can reflect Gordo without a reflector. And I think that's something a lot of players in general kind of forget, is that as long as you throw out any sort of long-lasting hitbox, there you go, now he does it. And sure, Llomomo is kind of ready to reflect that back, but eventually it's going to get so fast that the difference between you, being able to do it with a projectile like that and Llomomo being able to do it with reaction, Llomomo's going to lose that battle. But he's not going to lose that one.
Nope. And we've got a bracket reset.
Yes, we do. Yeah. And I think that it was a fine try with Terry, especially towards the end, but he just went for the Gordo reflection far too late to figure out if it would have been beneficial enough. And by this point, he was very desperate for some sort of ledge option, getting hit by the Gordo, and then drifting too far forward here. And it was just unfortunate. I hope we see either a different character to start off game one, or at least to switch back to Mega Man. Because I don't know. I just don't think that was... It was also just stages. I think that he should have been a bit more experimental with his stage selection. Because he hasn't been... Obviously, Battlefield and PS2 are banned. But I still think that BW should try out Town and City again. He should try out Smashville. He should try out FD. There are stages that are not just your normal comfort stages that... if you're losing like this multiple times in a row, you should definitely try and select other stages.
Yeah.
And players may get into their own head a bit too much.
All right, well, just to give you guys a look at it so you can see it for yourself. Zoom back out to this bracket reset that we have going on up there. Some flip flopping on that in just a second as these guys are getting ready to hop into the match. Just a second. Yeah.
And we're looking for PS2 this time around, and we're seeing the Samus. It looks like BW took some of chat's advice. We see that Phil was saying a bit earlier, I believe it was towards the end of that that game with Terry we just stopped watching, was that BW says, I would love to see BW try out Samus. Phil was saying his zoning game as Samus is top notch, and I've personally never seen Phil Samus, but this character is low key very good. Samus doesn't have very many North American reps at a top level, but in Europe, there's a character named Joker. There's a player named Joker, not to be confused with Joker from this game.
Joker, right?
Who's probably one of the best characters in Europe. Unfortunately, that's such an unfortunate gimp for Llomomo or for BW, but this is still very much an even game. This character with Samus has some really good mid-range and long-range tools with their projectiles and the aerials that they have. That I just think that BW just needs to play a bit less aggressive, especially when he's down like this, and just go for some more fully charged shots, go for some more Zairs with that tether grab, and then go for some more aerials, because he's just getting caught too much on ledge as Samus, and then he's getting far too stuffed out with these Gordos and with these hammers in the air. Finally gets a fully charged shot off. Not going to kill yet. Goes for about 75th, 3/4 like charge one. Does not get that second up smash off. Really trying to get this stock off. And there it is. Another stock taken off. Almost at max rage now is Llomomo, but no stocks taken. Even now. Going for anything. I think that BW needs to try and go for the up throw or something. The grabs on Samus are just so good that, like, you have to. Finally getting it with an up smash. Final hit. But even then, I think that was kind of a mistake Llomomo could deserve or be allowed to take. He tried to go for a suck to get some sort of reflecting, just was facing the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even then he's at like max rage. First stock still. Does not have any reason to worry about losing a stock, even if he was like same stocks like a piece. Because I think that beyond just the play he's showing off, he has the pressure to kind of back up making those smaller mistakes. And I still think, like, playing this character, that's it. Yeah, he's playing, I just think that as Samus too, he's playing a bit too aggressive. Samus, especially right now, benefits from just more patient play, more evasive, more movement-based play, and staying out of like your opponent's range. And we aren't really seeing that too much. We have seen him go for a couple charge shots, and like Phil is saying, you can go for those. You can shoot the missiles to negate the Gordo, and on top of that, you can even just do like a jumping grab, because that Zair with the tether grab will poke it back, and you can do down B to hit it back as well. And even that's a bit quicker of a input, since it's like a bomb that will stay out for like a second or so.
Right.
But it does not look like either one is getting a chance to show that part of Samus off.
No, and right now we're going to take a quick break to take a look back at some of the events that we've had previously. If you guys get a chance to, be sure to hop on over to our YouTube channel. You guys are going to see this match and every other one that was streamed on tonight here at IPG_esports. It looks like these guys are hopping back into it. Let's go back over to the full game.
Oh, whoa. Some weird picks coming out for Styles. I'm not sure. I didn't know he also had a
Simon.
Yeah, I didn't know he played Simon. Belmonts are interesting. They were actually perceived as very good when the game first came out, but have literally not been patched since to be worse or like better. But like everybody now for some like kind of just agrees that this character is very bad. Pretty much because they have no recovery.
They have no recovery, yep.
Yep. And the only thing they have is their tether grab, and like Llomomo kind of shut off, if you're a character with multi-jumps or some sort of large hitbox in the air, you hit them twice and they're gone. And it's kind of unfortunate, like, yep, he's gone again.
Yep, there's going to be a no comeback on that.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that this might be either a mix of desperation or just, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not, like, it's just kind of, I can understand it though. Like, I really do hope that he does go back to Mega Man, because like a lot of the times players will kind of do similar tactics like this where they're just unsure of what to change with even their main character. But a lot of the times, like, just the only thing you need isn't a character switch. It's more so just a playstyle switch or like a mindset switch. And for BW, I think that's all he really needs is just maybe try out a different stage with Mega Man and go for just a bit more passive play. Go for more saws. Go for more like side beasts to just rack up the damage if they aren't shielding. Go for some more pellets on the ground to try and just rack up small amounts of damage or get a combo starter or something. But yeah, it's gonna be so hard to play with these characters that have these types of weaknesses, because like we just saw, like both these characters may be a bit lower on the tier list, but like when this character Belmont's like, he's gonna have such a hard time recovering, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, clearly that kind of got pointed out in this one.
Yeah.
And I mean, at this point, I know BW Styles is definitely looking for some sort of solution, because at this point, Llomomo's won 5 in a row at this point. He's got to find something he can do to really kind of break this streak. And let's see, Titan Killer Phil is saying, and I think the forward B knocks back Gordos. Yeah, no, I mean, it's so much. One of the things I've always thought is interesting about him is about Dedede specifically is those Gordos, man. You almost have a very difficult time trying to guess what you're trying to do against them. Reflect them, dodge them.
Yeah. I think a rule of thumb is, depending on how close Dedede is, that will decide what you should be doing. I think the closer he is, the less often you should be shielding or trying to hit them back, because most of the time Dedede will either be ready to reflect it because like his intention is to purposely have you like stuck in that place, or because you go for that hitbox, you're now vulnerable for however long that move is there, and then he could jump over it and do a back air or just suck it up, or even just do nothing and just like shield it himself. But if he's far away, you're gonna want to take time to either guess if it's like gonna bounce over you and run him backwards, or just jump over it or hit it from the air even, so that he at least is like farther away both vertically and like horizontally, so that at least he's not gonna just like run across stage and punish you for that, you know what I mean? And luckily we do see BW switch back to Mega Man, but it's not that like hard. I don't think that this is that even, but it's also not like so far into the match to where I can say that BW is not gonna have a chance, because Llomomo's at 140, only tacked on about 23% in the second stock for BW, and there it is, the up smash, gonna do it and make this game an even stock game. And look at that, we're going for more multi-hits, just right here. Yeah, you don't want to be, you cannot be throwing out laggier moves. Once you've made the decision to, it's gonna be much harder to get back to stage. Nice using that up B, using the saw to keep him in the air and keep him juggling. But one thing that I see that is getting punished by Llomomo a bunch is BW Styles' use of saw, and that saw blade seems to be being punished whenever Dedede is on the ground, because he's able to either suck it up or throw something out that will beat it in terms of speed, because that initial throw of it when he throws it down or whatever is just slow enough to where, similarly to like I have this habit with Pac-Man when I try to throw a bell or something out of my hand, is that it's just slow enough at close range that even slow attacks can beat it just because they move faster once they're thrown out than my fruit or this saw. And it's better at just mid or far range, similar to most of Mega Man and Pac-Man's kits. So I think that it's just all about spacing now. Because I think BW definitely is skilled, like his Mega Man is the key, it's the answer, by far. But I think that it's just all about how well he optimizes his play with this character and how well he's like thinking of options and like why he should be using this move. So like for a lot of you players that may have like been like, well, I use this projectile at this point because it's like gonna be my kill move. Well, or like it can reflect Gordo or whatnot. Well, for future, start mixing up your timing of when you're going to throw it out. Or if you've been throwing out this projectile a bunch at this range, stop and start throwing it out farther away for a bunch, so that they start getting less used to you throwing it out close, or like a mid-range or a far range. Because now we're seeing it's getting to the point where I'm very scared to watch, because at any point BW may make a bad roll or a bad decision, and there's enough rage on DD to where I could say that yeah, he can do pretty much anything now, and even then he could just risk the stock. I could see an up tilt coming out and kind of ending this prematurely, especially with how antsy BW seems to be getting. This kill does not kill yet, even with that down at 200%. Finally getting it off. He needs to play perfect. Oh my gosh.
Oh, did he do it?
Oh, so close. That may have overextended there. That's gonna be. He needs to get out of this. Nice use of the side B there, blowing it up. There it is. He's starting to use the saw a bit farther back. Uses the up B. This is what I'm talking about. Those juggles. There you go, BW. Get those juggles. No, in the up tilt. There it is. He got so. I think it was just a little bit of impatience at the end. He was making the comeback, and I think that there was the adaptation he needed. So BW if rewatches this at any point, the only thing he needed to do was just start changing up that saw blade throw out distance. Like right there, that was perfect. It was like just out of range of anything that Llomomo could have done after he initiated that grab, being punished for it. And like he couldn't shield it, obviously. He couldn't have done much like at that range. And really the only thing that he messed up on at the end was just he got so trigger happy with those up airs, trying to continue that string, that he should have tried to recognize that after he had missed that last one on the ground, there just wasn't a time to do it again. But great games, really good adaptation from both players, and I think that BW just needs a little bit more, man. Like, his day is coming.
No, yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. I feel like he learned something or put something into practice just too late. I would even have said if he would put that in practice a stock earlier,
yeah,
might have started to see a little bit of a difference there. And I mean, granted, I'm not to take anything away from Llomomo, because he had already stacked the deck pretty high. It was on a 5-game win streak at that point already, so a lot of momentum in his favor. Definitely reacting really well. On top of that, following the game plan to the T, man. I mean, he was essentially nullifying Saw at the distance that BW was throwing it, putting Gordos in useful places to his advantage virtually every single time. So, I mean, he played an incredibly great game for what his character could provide for him to do. And I think he did a great job at learning from what he needed to learn, and using winners finals really as a learning space that, hey, so the character I like using against people, trash. The next character that I want to try to use, trash. Let me go ahead and try to use this character who gives me he has eventually just went down the projectile line. He said, Donkey Kong, no projectiles. Bowser, he's got fire. Then he said, you know what, I'm going to use the most projectile heavy character of my heavies, and I'm going to, come through losers, where he had an impressive victory. Let's take a look at the bracket really quickly. Had an impressive victory over Luxray NYC, if you guys can remember that. Made Luxray switch off of Falco and then come back over to Incineroar, and still having a really great day after that, man. So, I mean, Llomomo, I think, not to be understated in this cheerleading fest we had for BW Styles. Llomomo took some really great victories tonight. Once again, did not have to see RP4 earlier on. Played Luxray twice tonight. So, hats off to him, man. Congratulations. Cherry, you want to leave anybody with anything? Let them know an update on the next time you're going to be streaming or doing your podcast.
Yeah. So it sounds like on Mondays I will be doing like either a mix of both the podcast, just talking about the tournament, as well as if players have any sort of like previous tournament matches that they want me to watch, I'll be doing the like coaching and sessions then on stream, and then uploading that same day to YouTube. And on Wednesdays, I'll be talking a bit more about the tournament from the prior week as well as the upcoming week. And I also will likely use that like days if, let's say, like we finish the PR like
I'll have
whenever
news
I'll
on
be
that
using
before
a tournament.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I'll be using the upcoming like week as well as just like if we once we get the actual graphic up 2 weeks time, I'll probably show it off then on stream if like whatever, and like it'll be just an interesting talk time. So
Cool,
when
cool.
Mondays and Wednesdays.
Yeah, awesome. All right, well, guys, I want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. If you guys get a chance, please do be sure to check us out on YouTube at IPG_esports. Please make sure to subscribe there. You guys will be able to catch archive footage of all of tonight's matches there as well.